Hello. So first, I would like to talk about cognitive development. It was created by Piaget, which was a psychologist, and Piaget or Piaget, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but he pretty much said it was split into the four stages, and then there was basic tendencies in thinking. First, I will be going over the basic tendencies in thinking. So the first one is adaptation. The second one, organization, and then there is also equilibration. So the first one I'll be talking about is organization. So this is just forming psychological structures by organizing their thinking process. This is also followed by schemes, which are psychological structures. The definition of schemes are just components of thinking. And then our next one is adaptation. So the definition is just adapting to the environment. And this was broken down into two. There was assimilation and accommodation. So for assimilation, it's using something we know to determine what something is by associating the two. So for example, a child sees a wolf for the first time, they're automatically thinking that it's a dog, because they associate a dog with having four legs, and so does a wolf. And wolves howl and dogs howl, so they automatically say, it's a dog because they don't know how to distinguish between that. Also, for adaptation, we have accommodation. So we're adjusting the way we think to the information that is being given rather than changing the information to the way we think. Like I said, we're changing the way we think to the information that is given. So here, the example I gave was children start to accommodate their way of thinking about wolves to other systems for identifying animals. So instead of saying that they're automatically dogs, now what they're saying is, okay, so they have four legs, they howl, and they travel in packs. So things like this. Now we move on to equilibration. So that's just the mental balance between assimilation and accommodation. So an example here, students are given a worksheet and a lesson on Pythagorean theorem and can now use what they know to complete the worksheet. So they're given a worksheet, they're given a lesson, and now they know how to complete the worksheet because they were given the lesson. So just equilibrium. So if they were given disequilibrium, just means that if they were given a worksheet without the lesson, they wouldn't be able to complete the worksheet because they had no lesson or no past knowledge. So that's with the basic tendencies in thinking. We also have the four stages in thinking. I will be talking about all of them. We have the sensor motor, that's from 0 to 2 years. Children learn through the five senses at this stage. We have with the sensor motor, we have the object permanence. That's just knowing that an object is there, even though it's hidden. So here, I gave an example of playing peekaboo. It helps develop object permanence at a younger age. So here we're trying to develop, when someone hides when playing peekaboo with the baby doesn't know you're there. They're trying to build their object permanence. Then there's goal-directed actions. Okay, now we're moving on to the next stage, which is pre-operational. That's from 2 to 6 years. So children have learned to play symbolically. For example, children start to play mommy and daddy. They still don't know the meaning behind it, but they start playing mommy and daddy. Here there are two that break off from pre-operational stage. So we have conservation. So changing the form of an object does not change the amount it contains. For example, child is able to distinguish that the amount of Play-Doh given to each in a different container is the same amount, but at this stage, children still do not know exactly what that is. Now there is also egocentrism. So it's not about a child being self-centered. It's just the child thinks the world is the same for everyone. So an example I gave here was if a child sees the mom crying and tries to comfort her with something that comforts him. So let's say the mom is crying and he wants to bring her his favorite teddy bear that always comforts him. But it's not going to be the same for everyone, but that's what the child at this stage thinks. Okay. After this, we have the concrete operational, which is from 7 to 12 years. So children are able to use logic and understand how to solve problems. Students now know conservation. And conservation, just the different container contains the same amount of material. And from this, there are 5 things that branch off, but I will be focusing on 3. So we have the seriation, so knows how to put things in order. At this stage, an example I gave was that children are able to put toys in a row from tallest to shortest. So this just gives order. Children are able to put stuff in order. Then we have classification. Children are able to group given the different categories. So they're able to group all the chocolate bars because they're able to do that now at this stage. There is also reversibility, which just we're able to understand that whatever is done has a reverse way of doing something. So an example of this is if you freeze meat, this child knows that it can be thawed out to become unfrozen again. So at this stage, children already learn this. And then we have the formal operational stage, which is 12 years and up. At this stage, there's more logical thought. An example is a student given a word problem can reason in their heads using logic and reasoning. And they're able to do a little more complex things than a child at the sensor, motor, or concrete operational stage. So those are all my 4 stages. And like I said, with this Popplet, I did learn that there are 4 stages, and that cognitive development is very important in a child's life. We need to learn these different stages. That way we know what to expect from our children when they hit this stage. And then we also know the basic tendencies in thinking, and I also learned adaptation, organization, and equilibration. Thank you.